2021, there was a 25% increase in heart attacks and or cardiac arrests in people aged between 16 and 39, which was associated with the COVID vaccine, but not associated with COVID.
Hello, beautifuls. My name is Giselle, co-host of the Strong Tough Lovers podcast and founder and CEO of the Create app, an app created specifically for content creators. If that's you, make sure that you subscribe and follow us on Instagram. The app should be launching in early November. I'm super excited for this project. But today's video is going to be all about keeping it simple, stupid, especially when it comes to business. And I'm also sharing my COVID-19 story. If that's something that you're interested in, make sure you subscribe and let's get right into it. So this video was inspired by the Diary of a CEO. They just posted a video, 10 out of 10 you should watch. I'm gonna put a small clip of it in this video. But the video is called The Doctor That Got Banned for Speaking Out. We've been lied to about medication, and his name is Dr. Aseem Malhotra. He's a cardiologist and he spoke so many facts. Again, if you guys don't know me, hi, my name is Giselle. I graduated from the University of South Florida with a bachelor's in biology, and I used to be pre-med. I love anything that has to do with medicine. I worked in the ER all throughout the pandemic. After COVID-19, they did some data analysis for like 2021, 2022, and they noticed at this time inflammation of the heart, specifically with younger people. When I was working in the ER during COVID-19, we were talking about that, how young people were coming in with symptoms of heart attack, and everybody was so confused. And one common denominator about these patients coming in was the young people have gotten vaccinated. I think it's a perfect time to be able to speak out loud about this, because I'm so glad that now that we're out of this COVID bubble, we're able to speak freely, because for the longest time, I saw so much misconception, so many lies on the internet, and we were just so censored in this time. And I do feel like our government didn't educate us enough in the matter, and there was just like chaos all worldwide. I want you guys to check out this video right over here where Dr. Aseem Malhotra talks about the increase of the inflammation of the heart leading to heart problems such as heart attack.
In 2021, there was a 25% increase in heart attacks and or cardiac arrests in people aged between 16 and 39, which was associated with the COVID vaccine, but not associated with COVID.
And if you haven't watched the video, I 10 out of 10 recommend that you go watch it, because he goes into even deeper detail about just a lot of these medications that doctors prescribe to patients is literally making them sick, or not necessarily healing them or making them feel better in the long run. But no one talks about the actual percentage of improvement that these medications are causing in our lives. And for the most part, they're causing more harm to our bodies than good. And you might be wondering what this video is called, Keep It Simple, Stupid, right? I just wanted to share my COVID story because while COVID was going on, I was working in the ER, and there was just a lot of chaos, a lot of misinformation, and people were really scared. And of course, people were dying. Of course, people are scared. But in the media, you would see all these tallies and marks of like 100,000 COVID deaths, 200,000, 400,000. They would do it all in the States and over the country and over the world of like how many people are dying from this. Working in the ER, I started to feel something was fishy when they were literally sending us hospice patients. I'm talking about patients that were terminally ill with stage 4 cancer, or literally had like weeks to live, brain tumors, all these things. And they were sending them to the ER as COVID patients. These deaths counted. This is one of the reasons, even though I have a bachelor's in biology, I kind of have like detoured myself from medicine, because it's not about saving lives and being a doctor. It's really political, it's really about a business, and the hospitals were getting paid for having COVID deaths. So guess what? Every person that died in the hospital was a COVID death. So when I would come back home and all my friends are watching the news, and I was like, those numbers are literally spiked. Because yes, people are dying from COVID, but it was definitely not at the rate that they were assuming that people were dying from. Also, when everybody was divided in the streets between getting the COVID vaccine and not getting the vaccine, and wearing masks and not wearing masks, a lot of people, of course, the media was showcasing of like, you're dumb. If you don't wear a mask, you're dumb. Again, being educated and going back to simplicity, that's why I was like, keep it simple, stupid. I knew that the only thing that can protect us truly from the COVID virus was an N95. And most people did not have an N95. We were just wearing regular masks. And the regular masks was just like to stop people from coughing, to have those cough droplets fall into someone else, and that be a greater increase of COVID-19. But if you're not coughing or show any symptoms, unless you're spitting while you speak, you wouldn't transfer COVID as easily. But both of you wearing masks didn't really matter if you guys weren't coughing, because again, COVID-19 was a virus, and the virus was small enough to go through that mask. You needed an N95 to be able to truly be protective. And even the N95 wasn't 100%. Fast forward to the division coming to the hospital, we have Yale, Harvard, Gators, UF, USF, all types of doctors from all over the country, and sometimes even the world, because we did have foreign doctors as well in the hospital. And the hospital is really divided 50-50 of like, no, we should get vaccinated, and then no, we shouldn't. And in the ER, the fun thing about being in the ER, these doctors are subcontracted. So even though our hospital was trying to get the hospital to mandate vaccines, they technically couldn't mandate the ER doctors to get them because they were subcontracted to the hospital. This divided the hospital in half, to the point that we weren't even allowed to talk about vaccines or getting vaccinated. But this made me think. Again, I'm pre-med, I took immunology, and that was one of my favorite classes in college. And because everybody was divided, and again, these weren't dumb people. These were well-educated people, doctors that studied this, that were 50-50. So in the chaos of this, I was like, keep it simple, stupid, okay? Keep it simple. What do you know about a virus? I know that a virus needs our bodies to replicate, because a virus cannot replicate on their own. I know that the virus itself is not really trying to kill you. The virus is just trying to transmit and use you to replicate itself and transmit to other people. What I got to was that COVID-19 at the time, think of like a great white baby shark or a little lion. It didn't know its strength, so it was too strong when it was overtaking people's bodies, especially the people that were already immune compromised or they had comorbidities. So they would take over their bodies and the body couldn't handle it, they would die. Again, the virus itself wasn't trying to do that because they need you to replicate. So if you've taken immunology before, you would know that a virus is gonna eventually mutate. Again, kind of like trial and error, like when you're cooking, you're gonna trial and error until you get it perfectly right. Which led to now, if you look 4 years later, COVID-19 is a common cold because the virus has mutated enough to the point that it knows, hey, I don't really kill people at this level and I can still replicate and I can still infect other people. And I know thinking this simple is hard in a moment of when everything is chaos and everybody's telling you different things, but I knew for myself, like, I was not getting vaccinated because I didn't feel like there was enough trials and enough time. We didn't know enough about this virus. Plus, the virus was gonna mutate, and guess what? It did. And then you needed boosters and you needed all these things when you could have just let your body build its antibodies and just fight it off by itself. I knew people were gonna die, and people don't like to think about it. People just wanna save everybody, and that's when they can come up with this vaccine and then mandate it on everybody. And one of the things, if you can remember, when Johnson & Johnson came with the COVID vaccine, several women died because at the end of the day, they weren't doing these vaccines testing on women. They usually test vaccines on men. And a lot of these women were on birth control, which caused rare blood clots. So I say all this to say that sometimes you just gotta keep it simple. Stupid. Sometimes things can be crazy. You can be in the middle of a pandemic. You are trying to look for guidance. And one of the things that I've learned, that not everybody that's an expert is an expert. At the end of the day, I love medicine, and I still, deep down, I think I still want to be a doctor, but we shall see. We shall see. But one of the things that I loved the most was being able to educate the patient, being able to get them to understand what's happening with their body. Why are you taking the medication that you're taking? What is the alternative to that medication? When I was doing family practice, we had a lot of patients that were coming from South America, Honduras, Central America, and these people were not educated. They could barely read. And a lot of them were diabetic patients, and they had no idea that carbs turn into sugar in the blood. So they would come in with high glucose levels in their blood, and they're like, I haven't had any chocolate, but hey, you've been eating tacos all this weekend, tacos and pastas. So it was really fun to educate the patient, and I feel like we really missed the ball with this. And at the same time, I always say, no one knows your body better than you. So at the end of the day, no matter what it is, keep it simple, stupid. If the things are too broad, too big, and even the experts are divided, keep it simple. What are the simple facts that you know about this situation that applies overall in everything? And stick to those things. And when it comes to business, I think that's the approach that I'm having. At the end of the day, I do feel like this app, the Create app, can be a multi-million-dollar business. But if I get so much in my head of like, oh my gosh, I need angel investors and venture capitalists, and how am I gonna pay for this, and how am I gonna do this? Whatever. I'm just gonna keep it simple, stupid. What do I need to create a successful business? The simplest way possible, right? I need a product that's freaking amazing, AKA an app that is amazing, that people feel stupid not to download it. 2, I need to give more than I take. I need to bring value with my app. It can't be anything like what's already in the market, and I know this. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. 3, I need to market my product to the limiting variables in my company, which of course is the user. 4, I need to advertise. This right here, YouTube advertising, my Instagram advertising. I need to find fun ways that I can advertise my product, and again, bring so much value that you can't say no to me. 5, making sure that I'm listening to my customers and listen to your feedback when I get it. And 6, evolve with due time. So whenever it's time to evolve, make sure that I'm ready for it and not stand still. Make sure I grow with the company and grow with you guys. So I'm keeping it simple, stupid. I'm keeping it simple in business. I'm keeping it simple in my health. I'm keeping it simple in vaccines and all those things. I'm just so glad that we're finally talking about it, because for the longest time I was going crazy trying to educate my inner circle because we couldn't really talk about it online. So I'm just glad that the conversation's out there, it's open, and we can have a better discussion of it. Again, I don't think vaccines are bad. I think that what happened at that time, we were trying to fix a problem because we didn't want people to die, but that was part of the process, unfortunately. I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.